Hello friends, in last lecture we have studied about the aphorism number 35 to 42. In this aphorism there is explanation about the law of dissimilars, means what happens when two dissimilar diseases meet together in body. In this we studied about three conditions when two dissimilar diseases meet together in body. In this first condition is when the existing disease, means the when old disease is strong and the new disease is weak. In this condition the existing strong disease repels the weaker disease. This is first condition. Then second condition is about the when the old disease is weak and the new disease is strong. In this condition the new stronger suspends the weaker one. This is second condition. And when third condition is when the two diseases are of same character but dissimilar. In this condition they form the complex disease in the body. So these are the three conditions which are related to the law of dissimilars, or what happens when two dissimilar diseases meet together in body. This we studied in the last lecture, that is from aphorism number 35 to 42. Then in today's lecture we are going to discuss about the aphorism number 43 to 52, that are related to the what happens when the two similar diseases meet together in body. In this condition, when two similar diseases meet together in body, they neither repel one another, they nor suspend one another, or they nor form the double complex disease, but there is the ideal cure happens when two similar diseases meet together in body. So in this we are going to study about the similar diseases, or what happens when two similar diseases meet together in body. In this is explained from aphorism number 43 to 51, and in 52 aphorism there is summary about these aphorisms. So first we see the summary about the aphorisms, that is what is given in each aphorism. So in aphorism number 43 it is explained about the two similar diseases cures. Then in aphorism number 44 it is regarding they neither repel nor suspend nor form the complex disease in the body. Then in aphorism number 45 it is related to how they work when two similar diseases meet together in body. How they work according to the law of nature, that is according to the aphorism number 26. Then in aphorism number 46 this is related to the examples of two dissimilar diseases meet together in body. Then in aphorism number 47 it is regarding the lesson to the homeopath. Then in aphorism number 48 it is experience to teach. What is the experience Dr. Hahnemann experienced while he practicing. Then in aphorism number 49 it is related to the minute observations of Dr. Hahnemann. Then in aphorism number 50, why for cure we should not depend upon nature, as the nature cures the disease, but why we are not depend upon the nature for the cure, and why we give the medicines to the patients. Then in aphorism number 51 it is regarding the advantages of similia. What are the advantages of law of similia? That is explained in aphorism number 51. Then in aphorism number 52 it is related to the summary of these aphorisms, and from 53 it is starting of the different pathies. So this is the summary of aphorisms from 43 to 52. So starting with the today's aphorism, that is from aphorism number 43. So what is explained in aphorism number 43, that is totally different however is the result when two similar diseases meet together in the organism. That is to say, when to the disease already present a stronger similar one is added. In such cases, we see how a cure can be effected by the operations of nature, and we get a lesson as to how man ought to cure. So this is aphorism number 43. What is explained? That is, when two similar diseases meet together in body, they will cure one another. That is, two similar diseases cures. As two dissimilar diseases, when they meet together, either they repel one another, either they suspend one another, or either they form the complex disease in the body. Totally different is the situation when two similar diseases meet together in body on a living human being, and from discussion we get the ideal lesson how they cures one another. As the two dissimilar diseases meet together in body, either they repel one another, either they suspend one another, either they form the complex disease in the body. But when two similar diseases meet together in body, as our law is about the our pathy is depend upon the law of similars, that is similia similibus curantur, that is law of similars, and on the basis of this law there is cure of diseases when two similar diseases in the body, as they cure one another. So this is the aphorism number 43, that is, when two similar diseases meet together in body, they cure one another. Then the aphorism number 44, it is regarding the two diseases similar to each other, two similar diseases in the sixth edition, that can neither as asserted of dissimilar diseases in repel one another, nor has been shown of dissimilar diseases in suspend on another, so that the old one shall return after the new one has run its course, and just a little can two similar diseases, as has been demonstrated in respecting dissimilar affections, exist besides each other in the same organism, or together form a double complex disease. That is regarding the aphorism number 44. In this aphorism, it is explained that when two dissimilar diseases meet together in body, they will repel one another, or they will suspend one another, or they will form the complex disease in the body. But when two similar diseases of same character are meet together in body, the two similar diseases, as concluded, can neither repel one another nor suspend one another, and exist besides each other and form a complex disease. So this is regarding the similar diseases, when two similar diseases meet together in body. That is about the aphorism number 44. That is, when two similar diseases meet together in body, then neither repel nor suspend nor form the double complex disease in the body. Then aphorism number 45, it is as, no two diseases differing, it is true in kind, but very similar in their phenomena and effects, and in the suffering and symptoms they severally produce, invariably annihilate one another whenever they meet together in the organism. The stronger disease, namely, annihilates the weaker, and that of this simple reason, because the stronger morbific power, when it invades the system by reason of its similarity of action, involves precisely the same parts of the organism that were previously affected by the weaker morbid irritation, which consequently can no longer act on these parts, but it extinguished. Whenever the vital force deranged by the primary disease is more strongly attacked by the new, very similar but stronger dynamic morbific power, it therefore now remains affected by the latter alone, whereby the original similar but weaker disease must, as a mere dynamic power without material substratum, ceases the exercise any further morbid influence on the vital force. Consequently, it must cease to exist. In this, what is explained in aphorism number 45, it is regarding the how they work, means when two similar diseases meet together in body, how they work in the body and cure takes place. In this, it is explained about the aphorism number 26, that is, a weaker dynamic affection is permanently extinguished in the living organism by a stronger one if the latter is very similar to the former in its manifestations. It is regarding the when two similar diseases meet together due to the similarity in their manifestations in signs and symptoms, annihilate one another whenever they meet together in one organism. Due to similarity in manifestation, the stronger disease affects the same spot, same sphere, same location, which are affected by weaker similar disease. As soon as the stronger similar disease is acted due to similarity of the symptoms of a weaker disease gets extinguished permanently, and the man as a whole is under the possession of a stronger disease. The person henceforward is affected temporarily by artificial medicinal disease, because each and every medicinal substance has its own duration of action. In this, what is explained in aphorism number 45, it is regarding the how the two similar diseases meet together in body and how they work in the body. In this case, when two similar diseases meet together, they are of a similar manifestation, having the similar manifestation and having the same sphere of action, but the latter has a stronger effects on the body and have the affects the same spot, same sphere and same location, which are affected by a weaker similar disease. These are of stronger and weaker condition but are having the similar disease. So these stronger disease annihilate the weaker natural disease, and the stronger disease is produced by artificial morphic agents, means these are produced by the medicines, and these medicinal disease having a fixed period of duration or action of duration, and after the duration of action of this stronger disease, they automatically remove from the body, and in this way the cure takes place. For this, we take example as if the person is suffering from the malarial symptom and we produce the similar effect or a similar symptom by giving him a cinchona medicine or the cinchona medicines, and by giving this medicine we produce the similar effect in the body but of a stronger nature, and this cinchona medicine symptoms annihilate the natural symptom which are present of malaria, and after the annihilation of a weaker symptoms of natural disease of malaria, the after the completion of duration of action of cinchona, there is annihilation of the stronger symptoms, stronger disease symptoms also, and in this way the cinchona cures the malarial fever of natural disease. So this is example regarding how the cure takes place in the body when two similar diseases meet together in body. This is explained in aphorism number 45. In this, in 6th edition, it is having footnote. It is about the new similar but the stronger morphic potency controls the feeling of the patient, and hence the life principle on account of its peculiarity can no longer feel the weaker similar, which becomes extinguished, exists no longer, for it was never anything material but a dynamic spirit like affection. The life principles henceforth is affected only, and this but temporarily, by the new similar but stronger morbific potency. Means by giving medicine we produce a stronger morbific effect in the patient, and by the effect of this stronger morbific effect we annihilate the what is the natural disease present in the human body, and this there is annihilation of that natural disease, and after the completion of duration of action of that stronger morbific agent means the action of the medicine what we give to the patients on the basis of similarity, this also completes its action and the patient is free from all the diseases and there is cure of patient. That is explained in aphorism number 45 regarding the how they work when two similar diseases meet together in the body. Then we shift towards the next aphorism, that is about the aphorism number 46. In this aphorism, many examples might be adduced of diseases which in the course of nature have been homeopathically cured by other diseases presenting similar symptoms. In this, they gave the many examples of diseases which in the course of nature have been homeopathically cured by other diseases presenting the similar symptoms, where it not necessarily as our object is to speak about something determinate and indubitable, to confine our attention slowly to those diseases which are invariably the same, arise from a fixed miasm, and hence merit a distinct name. Among these, the smallpox, so dreaded on account of the great number of its serious symptoms, occupies a prominent position, and it has removed and cured a number of maladies with similar symptoms. Then in this aphorism there is explanation about the different examples of diseases. In this, Dr. Hanuman gave the different examples which explain about when the similar diseases meet together in body and how they will cure one another. In this, the first example is about the smallpox produces violent ophthalmia. Sometimes even it causes blindness, but after inoculation cured a chronic ophthalmia. Means smallpox produces ophthalmia but sometimes even causes a blindness, but after inoculation it cured a chronic ophthalmia also. Then second example is about an blindness of 2 years duration due to suppressed scald head was cured by appearance of smallpox because it is one of the symptom of it. Means patient having a blindness since 2 years due to the suppressed scald of head, but after the appearance of smallpox there is disappearance of that blindness is cured because of the appearance of smallpox, as blindness is one of the symptom of smallpox. Then next example is of smallpox causes deafness, dyspnea, but it is noted that chronic deafness and dyspnea was cured by it. Also, along with the blindness, there is symptoms of smallpox, that is deafness and dyspnea, but they are cured after the appearance of, that is chronic deafness and dyspnea also cured by the appearance of smallpox. Then swelling of testicles is one of the example, one of the symptom of smallpox, but there is a patient who has the swelling due to injury which was cured after becoming victim of smallpox. Then dysenteric state of bowel is the symptom of smallpox, but there is a case record which shows smallpox has cured a case of dysentery. So these are the symptoms of smallpox, but patient having these symptoms, chronic symptoms present, and after this appearance of smallpox these symptoms are cured as the smallpox having these symptoms. Then smallpox removes the cowpox homeopathically. Then there is different symptoms regarding these conditions when the two similar diseases meet together in body. In this, one more example, that the smallpox coming on the on after vaccination as well on account of its greater strength as its great similarity at once removes entirely the cowpox homeopathically and does not permit it to come to maturity. But on the other hand, the cowpox, when near maturity, does on account of its great similarity homeopathically diminished very much the supervening smallpox and make it much milder, as Murphy's and many other testify. So this is one of the example regarding how the similar diseases when meet together in body, they will cure one another. This having a footnote also regarding the examples, that is having to the aphorism number 46. So these are the different examples regarding the when two similar diseases meet together in the body. Then we shift towards the next aphorism, that is aphorism number 47. So what is given in aphorism number 47? That is, nothing could teach the physician in a plainer or more convincing manner than the above what kind of artificial morphic agent he ought to choose in order to cure a sure, rapid and permanent manner conformably with the process that takes place in nature. So this is aphorism regarding the lesson to the homeopath, that is these aphorisms to the physician in a very plain, easy and simple way, that in order to achieve the goal of restoration of the health of a sick person, which artificial morphic force should be used, which is with the confirmation on the process or the phenomena that takes place in nature, means to annihilate the natural disease or to cure the patient or to achieve the goal of restoration of health of a sick person, you have to choose the artificial morphic force, and that artificial morphic force must be matched with the natural disease, and that artificial morphic force annihilate that natural disease, and which with the confirmation on the process or the phenomena that takes place in the nature, that is depend on the law of nature, and on the basis of law of nature you can cure your patient by giving the artificial morphic agents, means the medicines. When you prescribe medicines, means you produce the artificial morphic symptoms in the patient, and that stronger artificial morphic symptoms annihilate the natural symptom in the patient. So this is regarding the lesson to the homeopath, that is how to get the goal of, or how to achieve the goal of restoration of health of sick person, which artificial morphic force should be used for it. This is explained in aphorism number 47. Then in aphorism number 48, it is regarding the experience to teach, means what is given in aphorism, that is neither in the course of nature as we see from all the above examples, nor by the physicians art can an existing affection or malady in any one instance be removed by a dissimilar morphic agent, be it ever so strong, but slowly by one that is similar in symptoms and is somewhat stronger according to the internal irrevocable law of nature, which have not been recognized. It is regarding the, from the above discussion we can come to the conclusion that in the course of nature not single example is there where we can testify where two dissimilar diseases have cured one another, but only by agent which is similar in their manifestation, but which is differing in kind and superior in its strength. Means experience, what experience teach to us, that is regarding the when the two diseases of dissimilar character, they can not cure one another, but the diseases of similar character, they will cure one another. So this experience teach us, that is from the above discussion, as we come to the conclusion that in the course of nature, not a single example is there where we can just testify where the two dissimilar diseases have cured one another, but only by agent which is similar in their manifestation, but which is differing in kind and superior in its strength. In similar conditions also, we can study it when the disease is of similar character, but the strength of one having the stronger strength, the another having a weaker strength, and that stronger strength annihilate the weaker disease. So this nature also teach us, or the experience also teach us, when the dissimilar diseases meet together, they never cure one another, but when they are of similar character, they will cure, but they having also the power difference, that is stronger annihilate the weaker one. So this is explained in aphorism number 48. Then in aphorism number 49, it is regarding, we shall we shall we should have been able to meet with many more real natural homeopathic cures of this kind if, on the one hand, the attention of observers had been more directed to them, and on the other hand, if the nature had not been so deficient in helpful homeopathic diseases. That is regarding the minute observations, that is Dr. Hahnemann has enlisted few examples regarding how cure takes place in nature, that is when two similar diseases meet together, and we can add, if we observe attentively for the same, and to add, nature should not insufficient to create similar diseases to all diseases. It is regarding the artificial disease is referred here, and counter disease possessing great advantages than natural counter disease. Means we say that when the stronger disease meets the weaker disease of similar character, it will annihilate the weaker disease. But this is the case when we found the similar disease in every respect, but it is not possible to found the similar disease in every respect, as Dr. Hahnemann has enlisted few examples regarding the how cure takes place in nature, that is when similar diseases meet together in body, and we can add, if we observe attentively for the same, and to add, nature should not be insufficient to create a similar diseases to all diseases.